Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Soraya, and today I want to talk about how you know that you're making progress on the twin flame journey. This is a very important thing to know, and a lot of people have a lot of confusion around this. So I'm really happy to kind of take some time and let's just dive into it, bring it back to the work, bring it back to the teaching, and really see how do we know? How do we know that we're making progress on this journey? A lot of people hold the misconception that when they feel really good and spiritually high, that they must be getting closer to their twin flame. And a lot of this has to do with the fact that when many of us meet our twin flame for the first time, we tend to kind of feel a lot of energy. And like sometimes it can be Kundalini energy. I know that for me, I had my first experience. I didn't know what was happening, but I had my first experience with Kundalini energy when I met my twin flame for the first time. And it kind of like freaked me out a little bit. I did not know, it was probably like a year or two later I discovered, it was probably like around the time I found this work that I discovered what actually happened when that was going on. And so a lot of us will feel like very spiritually high at times with our twin flame. So we kind of associate that with being with our twin flame. We also just believe that, we know in many cases that, our union, our relationship with our twin flame has a lot to do with our relationship with God. And so, I notice even from my Christian background that, even in that religion, it's very common to seek spiritual highs, whether through prayer or through worship, and feeling that means that you're like somewhat closer to God. Because there's this belief that, God is out there, God is kind of far away. And so you do these things and you feel these high feelings because you're aligning with love in that space. And there's this belief that means, oh, I'm close to God here. And so I think it's very interesting when we go back to Twin Flame Ascension School and what Jeff and Shalia teach about this, that they teach that the way to know that you're moving forward is not by how high you feel, it's not by how good you feel, it's by whether or not you're moving through the upset. So if you want to know if things are getting better between you and your twin flame, it all has to do with whether or not you're moving through the upset right now. And what is the upset? It's the upset that's coming up. It's the feeling that's coming up in this moment. And so are you present with yourself? Are you working through what's arising? Are you facing your challenges? That's how you know that you're moving forward. So it also kind of debunks a big misconception that, this journey is all about feeling good and that you need to just shut out the bad and uncomfortable feelings. And bad, I kind of say loosely, but you know what I mean? Like the challenging feelings. And that, if you just focus on the good, people believe this with law of attraction, just think positive thoughts, ignore the uncomfortable thoughts and uncomfortable feelings. And so, this really kind of like puts that to rest and really points out that it's not about what you're feeling. It's about whether or not you're present with yourself as you're feeling it. It's about whether or not you're working through the challenge. So it has less to do with how good you feel and it has more to do with how well you're loving. And that's really key here. It's all about becoming a lover of yourself, and that's what your twin flame reflects. So I had this experience when I was speaking with my twin flame. This was years ago. And I remember I felt horrible one evening. I was working through some heavy stuff. I was feeling some feelings, like I felt bad. And I remember I was sitting on my couch and I was like all curled up, just breathing, like miserable, working through some stuff, right? And I remember thinking to myself, there is no way my twin flame is going to want to talk to me tonight. I feel so bad. Like, I barely want to be here having this experience myself. Surely he doesn't want to connect with me when I'm feeling like this. It was just horrible. So I just remember I was just like, I'm just curling up and I'm just feeling my feelings. I was breathing through it and just choosing to be with God there. And it was just challenging. It was a very, very uncomfortable, challenging evening. And to my surprise, my twin flame was, texting me, messaging me, and, asking me how I was feeling, how he could, support me and help me here. And really wanting to be there for me and really wanting to show up. And I remember asking God, I was like, how is this possible that he wants to be close to me when I feel this bad? It just didn't make sense to me back then. I was still learning about twin flames and I was just like, this just didn't make sense based on my understanding of how all this worked. And God pointed out to me, he's like, but you're here with yourself. You're being deeply present with yourself. You're working through what you're feeling. Like, where else would he be? Like, he's reflecting how well you're loving yourself right now. I'm like, but I'm not loving myself that well. I feel so bad. He's like, no, you're showing up. You're working through it. And I was like, oh, so like I'm showing up for myself. My twin flame mirrors that by showing up for me. And that was a really big breakthrough for me. And I realized, I was like, wow, like I'm unconditionally loved by my twin flame. Like there's never a point, no matter what I'm feeling, no matter how uncomfortable it gets, that my twin flame isn't there loving me and reflecting me. There's not a time that he's like, oh, you feel this way. Oh, I don't want to love you there. He'll only show that on the outside if he's reflecting that I'm doing that with myself. If I'm having conditional love toward myself, if I'm not willing to work through my challenges, then he's going to mirror that. But that's not actually how my twin flame feels about me. And that's not how God feels about me. And when we learn to love ourselves unconditionally, we realize that there's never a time that we have to be without love. There's never a time that we have to like put love on hold while we go and handle something, or we improve something, or we heal something within ourselves. That we can be with our twin flame there. We can be with God there. We can be with love there. We can be with ourselves there, is what it really comes down to. And so it is not about how high you feel. It's not about how great you feel. It's nice. And trust me when I say you will feel high and you will feel great. It will happen, because this is a spiritual ascension path. You are healing your relationship with God. You will continuously feel better and better. You will reach spiritual highs on this path. Beautiful moments with God, awarenesses, and just a beautiful, peaceful, blissful, heavenly feeling. You will have that. But that's not how you tell whether or not you're making progress, whether or not you're close to your twin flame. You're close to your twin flame when you're close to yourself unconditionally. So that is how you know. Are you working through the upset right now? And how do you work through the upset? You do it with a mirror exercise, which is linked beneath this video. It's the only tool you need to heal twin flame separation. It's what Jeff and Shalia teach to heal twin flame separation. And the mirror exercise brings you back to yourself to work through those challenges so that you can heal them and be really free of those uncomfortable energies and feelings within yourself, so that you can experience the truth of your union with God there. So yeah, that's how you know you're making progress. It is not based on the superficial, and it's not based on the current, how good it is, how good is a bad word for it, but like how pleasant the feeling is. You will reach that on this path, but that's not when you're with your twin flame. You're with your twin flame when you're present with yourself. And you're present with yourself when you're experiencing those highs, but you're also present with yourself when you're experiencing those lows, so to speak. So it's just about being with yourself all the time. And if you're working through the upset, if you're working through the challenge, you are making progress, because that upset, that challenge is something that feels bad in your consciousness. And the more that you bring love there, you heal it, and your vibration raises, and you keep moving forward and experiencing more love that your twin flame, you share with your twin flame. So that's how you know. So hopefully this video was helpful. If you need any support, I do offer coaching. You can find that again beneath this video, and I will see you in the next one.